So we have 9 resumes to go over. We have about like 1 hour and 30 minutes. We'll try to make it briefly. Stanley Suyan is a technical recruiter at Cisco Miracle at this moment. Previously, Stanley was working at Meta and other startups, and over 10 years or 15 maybe, Stanley.
Almost 15. Not
Almost
quite there
15.
yet. Not
Not
quite there
quite there.
yet.
Not that old, right?
Not that old.
Yeah, but Stanley, yes, Stanley uh, is a go-to person in terms of first screening calls. And obviously, your resume usually goes through Stanley, if not from Sourcer first, but Stanley is basically sending over this resume to hiring manager. And hiring manager would give he would give another look and would decide go or no go, right? Oh, by the way,
Yep.
Stanley, can you share like maybe what is the ratio usually like or standard ratio between when you're sending the resumes and how many resumes will be rejected and how many resumes will be go to the interview or they would ask you to schedule the interview?
Good question. So obviously, once I take a look at the resume, have that conversation with people, um, by that time, I'm usually fairly confident in my submission. So, most of the time when you work with managers, right, we consider ourselves partners. So we want to be a good partner and not waste each other's time, whether it's sending a bad resume over with a bad phone screen. Um, but with my success rate, I feel like it's, in the 80s or so,
80%.
seven, 70 to 80%, in terms of, okay, I identified the resume. On paper, they look like a good fit. And then I do the phone screen and they check off the boxes I'm looking for, had a great conversation. Everything seems to match, right? So I pass on, let's say, 70 to 80% of people that I talk to.
That's very high rate. That's very high rate. That's awesome. And obviously, like that's usually goes with a fine tuning right along the way when you probably you would send the first resumes and maybe the hiring manager would give you the feedback like, hey, Stanley, I want to see this more in the resumes or want to see
Mm-hmm.
this more in candidates. Can you search up more in this, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you're working with a new hiring manager or a brand new position where you've never worked on before, then there's a bit of fine tuning that goes, as you progress in the process. In the beginning, personally, I like to check in with the hiring manager, have a set of checks and balances, and I'll show them profiles that I don't think they're a fit, but I just want to be sure. So I'll check in with the manager to either confirm my thoughts or, have them say it's
Yeah,
completely wrong.
yeah,
Right. And
yeah,
that way that helps me calibrate closer and closer to the profile that we look for.
yeah. That makes sense. And in today's session, Stanley, again, like Stanley is a tech recruiter. He represents companies doing the first initial screening calls. On my side, I also work with hiring managers, and I also had a experience of hiring people as a hiring manager. And I will be more on the side of hiring managers and will give more feedback based on and my expertise in primarily in software testing. So that would be software engineering, software testing. Those expertise I will be sharing today. All right. There's actually uh, a question in the chat. You want to answer that? What are specific
Yeah.
qualities, what attributes you are looking for during the screen calls? And guys, yeah,
Yeah.
feel free to ask questions in the chat and in the Q&A session. It's more like today's withstand the Q&A plus resume reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. We have 16 participants. I imagine we go through a lot of profiles, but we could take breaks and answer any questions that we see in the chat As far as specific qualities or attributes that I'm looking for, you know, as a recruiter, there's of course alignment to the position. We work very hard to partner with hiring managers to really understand what it is that they're looking for, whether that's something technical based or a specific experience, specific skill set, technology, industry, uh, companies, things like that, right? And it really just depends on the manager that you're working with and what they're looking for. But other than alignment to the role, some basic things that we check off is that, let's say communication is good, right? We want you to be able to clearly explain what it is you've worked on and what it is you've done. And that's hard for me to evaluate you if I'm not able to communicate well with you and understand that, right? So I think communication is a big key in helping you at least be understood, and sharing your experience. And then some of the HR stuff I do at the very end to make sure that we're aligned, namely like where you live, if it's a hybrid position or on-site position, if you're able to make it into the office, and then the compensation piece, whether or not we're in the ballpark of what you're looking for, and if we can offer that to you.
All right, let's go with the first candidate. Hey, candidate number one.
Hey, I so
I
I need some advice on the because currently I'm taking some boot courses in AI. It's a boot camp, and I'm doing some projects there. So how would I incorporate or where would I write the projects?
Have
That is one
we
of my questions.
have we reviewed your resume prior to this?
I attended the interview session, so that's why.
I thought I recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I specifically remember um, the HPE, Micro Focus, and Open Text comment I gave you. My
Mm-hmm.
memory works in really weird ways. I can't remember some basic stuff sometimes, but if I see something, it just sparks a memory, right?
Yeah, so
But I do
that also
remember
I
looking at
have,
your resume.
yeah, I have a question on that also because
Mm-hmm.
people said like I should don't write it as open text separate. I mean, open text then micro focus because it each shows only 2 to 3 years because it was company acquisitions. So they said like you should keep the entire uh, show that you were working there for about 10 plus years. That will show the strength. So what would you recommend on that?
It's up to you to decide how you want to frame it. Personally, as a recruiter,
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of people with like 1 years of experience, even 6 months of experience. And, those could be yellow or red flags with hiring managers. But, in the case of 3 companies in 10 years, most hiring managers I've worked with takes no issue to that. But if you want to keep it all together, you certainly can. If you want to share that, tell that story of the company acquisition, you could simply write a quick, dash after open text and have maybe 5 words to describe it, right?
Okay.
Describe that the companies that you've been at got acquired.
Okay. Okay.
so
But you did have another question, right?
Yes, about the AI projects. How do I incorporate that or where do I incorporate that?
yeah, let me give you quick advice here. So you're
Sure.
trying to squeeze two positions in one resume, which is not really good. Um, we all understand that AI is a part of actually engineering nowadays. So it's kind of right now, it's not something that unique, but it's something that you need. It's already like a lot of companies um, they requested it, right?
Mhm.
So you are so first of all, like if you want to switch over to AI engineering, then you need to have two different resumes, right? QA
Okay.
separate, AI engineering separate, and try not to mix this up. But since you've been doing the AI studies and projects, which is impressive as well, but this is not the core thing, right? So it's um you need to focus on what position you wanna get, right? So, for example, uh, definitely your resume would be more fit for more strong for software testing positions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you need to emphasize your experience with this, and also put it below experience that you have AI projects going on, that you are studying this. But it's not so. This shows that you actually want to move away to AI domain, which can be confusing, right? If if this is the case, then you need to create a separate.
Yeah, but when you say separate resume, I won't have experience for AI, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, for AI experience, you have your AI projects. Again, do not mix it up. That's the problem,
okay, okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For AI engineering, you need to have strong, not strong at this moment, but you need to have separate AI engineering resumes. For
Okay,
QA, keep it as a QA, keep it as that or lead test engineer, and keep your AI projects, but put it under your experience as a like as
okay.
your projects that you've been working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. Summary needs to be like definitely needs to be shortened or make it more clear.
Okay,
Um, Yeah, that's the two big things that I would even summer is kind of I would really wouldn't be picky on that, but more picky is that you're trying to squeeze two positions in
two
one.
two positions.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'll do that then.
Stanley, do
Okay,
you have any other?
any other feedback, please?
Hmm, I agree with Yevgeny. Looking at this resume, just seeing that last bullet point of LLM basics, it doesn't do anything for me in terms of make me think, oh, hey, we should talk to you, right?
Mhm.
Just because you put that down. So,
No,
um,
yeah, I changed that to certificate course actually. So but then as Evgeny said, like I should have two separate resumes. So yeah, I'll do that then.
mhm, yeah, exactly.
And would you recommend GitHub links or just the name of the project is good enough?
GitHub links is like is a must at this moment.
Sorry?
Yeah, GitHub links or like whatever you did, you showcase,
Uh-huh.
it speaks louder than just a name, right? But
Okay.
again, like if you have something that you can demonstrate, if you put the GitHub link there and it's empty, or like you've been doing this just for the last couple months or last couple weeks, mm, yeah. But again, I wouldn't. If you have this in GitHub, put it.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that then.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move forward.
And while you're getting it set up, let me answer a question I see on here.
Okay.
So, your mech, you have a behavioral interview. I just wrote brief answer here. But in general, the behavioral interview is going to be with a recruiter, and all we want to know is alignment. Like we said earlier, the best way to do that is be able to talk about your past, right? Give us a high level overview of what you've done, what your career is like, right? Kind of projects you worked on. Um, and as basic as that sounds, I do come across a lot of people who can't verbalize it. And it makes a big difference if you're able to tell it to me clearly. Other questions that you might encounter is, what's causing you to look around, right? What are you looking for in your next role? And for us, that helps us understand, like, hey, is this the right team for you? For example, if you're looking for, um, very small team to contribute to and wear many hats, this might not be the right role, right? So if you're able to tell us that, we will be upfront with you and let you know if we think it's a good fit or not.
All right, let's go with the second candidate, Mina.
Yeah.
Hey, Mina.
Hi, Evgeny. Hi, Stan. Can you
Hello.
hear me well?
Mina,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
hear you.
hear you well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
so generally, like before sharing the roles of my interest, I just wanted to check if by looking at my resume, are you able to identify the roles that I'm looking for? Mm.
Yes, just immediately in the first line of the summary, I could tell what you worked on. And looking at your titles, I could make assumptions of what you.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I was mainly asking this so that making sure that my resume conveys my story. Yeah, I was like, I'm mainly looking for QA manager or senior QA engineering related roles. So, wanted to get some feedback on what's good about my resume, what are some red flags that you see, and where I can improve.
Okay, give me a second to take a look.
Mm.
What's the current situation, Mina?
I'm currently looking for a job.
Yeah. So I see that was it your last position in October 24?
Yeah, that's right. And I
Mhm.
got affected by layoffs due to reorganization. And then, yeah, I had my second kid and took a break after that. And I'm back to the market like 3 months ago.
Okay.
Okay.
So given that you're coming up on a year of being unemployed, and it never hurts to do this in general, most recruiters or hiring managers know how rough the market has been in the last few years. I would recommend you put a little bit of context where you could say affected by reduction in force, sort of like a third round of layoffs, whatever the case is. But somewhere where you could squeeze that in, you could put it pretty much right after the dates if you want.
Okay.
And that could help contextualize, why you haven't been looking last year, or why you don't have any work experience last year.
Okay. Wouldn't that, yeah, thanks for the feedback. But wouldn't that also backfire by seeing that there is a gap due to the layoff? Or what are your thoughts?
Backfire in a sense where we look at it and say, oh, hey, they laid people, they got laid off, so
Yeah.
they're no good. No, I mean personally for me as a recruiter, I don't think that way. It's been tough on a lot of people in the last couple of years, and it's just so saturated right now with people looking for jobs that it doesn't mean that you're a bad worker.
Okay. Okay.
But overall, when I take a look at your experience here, I like it because I could see your progression from a senior associate to a QA lead to a manager. I could see the timeline, how long it took for you to get there. I could see things like how large your team is, how many people you're managing or overseeing. I could see that you have some responsibilities, like you put what your responsibilities are. You have some numbers here to show that you're automating 30 plus regression scenarios. I could see some accomplishments as a manager, reduced defect leakage from 15 to 5% by introducing robust QA processes and CI integrated test suites. So overall, I think it's a fairly solid resume.
Mm-hmm.
Without looking really, really thoroughly, I can't tell if there's any redundancy in your roles as a in responsibilities, right? As a QA lead, senior associate, or a manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the manager, lead, and then the senior associate, all of this is for a single company. Um, so it's like I have spent like close to 9 to 10 years. Um, how well should I project that? Or like how will that be helpful for my resume to get noticed?
Yeah, we like seeing stuff like that, just longevity in the role. 10 years is a long time, and I know some recruiters um, do think that hey, once you spend that amount of time in a role, things could get stale, and you might lose your edge just sticking with one company using those same company processes and tools. But in
Mhm.
your case, you being there for 10 years and showing the growth in your role um, is a positive thing. Some people just get stuck in their same role, same tasks, right? Same projects over and over again. And it doesn't look like the case here.
Okay. Thanks for the feedback, Stan.
Yeah, overall, really good. Anything else to add, Evgeny?
No, I think really, your resume looks pretty solid, but honestly, it's the job market right now is terrible. Especially,
Mhm.
it's even worse for managerial positions like QA. Well, let's put it this way: QA itself, it's very limited market at this moment, but for managers, it's even harder. I have quite a lot of uh, engineering or QA managers in my network who are searching right now, who are very experienced like you. And yeah, it's just the market itself, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That was going to be my next question. But
If
mm,
Yeah, if I would be in your shoes, and again, like I know different people have different opinions on that, but I would probably go to IC roles, to engineering roles, like to QA roles, you know, because it's just the market demand is low, supply is high. But then I would also like to a previous candidate, I would suggest to customize your resume to a specific role, not like very niched, but QA engineering or test automation role, right? Test lead. Um, so that would be easier to identify. Okay, you are looking for this role, and you are the best for this specific position, and why, right?
mhm. Okay. So, if I understood this right, for a SDET role, for example, you're recommending me to modify the resume
Yeah,
and apply for those.
yeah, exactly. And why is this approach? Again, if you i- when you were hiring manager, when you post a job, right, you will get multiple, uh, a lot of candidates. So today you would post it in 1 hour, you will get 200, 300 people right away off the bat. And who would you pick, right? Even you would shortlist, you would get 10 resumes. And for example, the position itself would be, let's say, lead destination engineer, right? And you would have five of them lead destination engineer, and one of them would be just generic QA engineer or QA manager. Who do you think would be the better fit, right? Those who title fit. And
Mhm.
that's pretty simple. And yeah, that's very similar to AI engineering or QA engineering, right? if I have a person with a resume who is targeting for Q engineering role specifically, you would pick that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
How
Uh,
about what, sorry, if you
Go
have
ahead. Yeah.
one last question. So
Sure.
how about for project management or TPM related roles? So would my current resume, do you think would be
Mm-mm.
a good
No,
fit for that, or I should modify it again?
I would modify it specifically for project or product management roles.
Okay.
So like, and again, like I know it's hard, especially title wise. Like, how do you put the project manager into your resume?
Mm.
But again, like put yourself into the hiring manager's role, right? And do you have chances to pick the person who doesn't have any experience in project management, and you have person who has project management experience? And this is exactly the time. What's the situation right now, right? Who would you pick, right?
Yeah, one with the experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why you need to customize your resume, adjust to specific role, and make sure that obviously that you can speak about this specific role that you are looking for.
Okay.
Make
Thank you.
sense?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Nina.
you both. Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye. All right. We have next person, candidate number 3, Adam. Hey, Adam.
Hi, thank you for doing this.
What's your situation right now?
I am unemployed for the last 1.5 months, and held a 4 month contract prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, at the start of this year, I was laid off after like spending 3 years.
Got it.
Yeah, I've been using this resume, except I wasn't a citizen since till last week. Um, and gotten just a few interviews, to be honest. Like the job market is even worse than the start of this year.
Quick fix, yeah. Put your key projects and achievements below the experience, because it's a little confusing. Like, what are you, or like, what was the reason you put it here?
I mean, these, like the first project here, it doesn't appear in any of the experience. It's a personal project. In the other two, they got lost in the second from the last experience, which was like 3 years long. So I wanted to highlight a few things. Um, and from what I've seen, ATS systems don't get confused with this. And I'm hoping that someone taking a look at the resume actually, it will catch their eye.
Yeah. So it's very commonly spread among like newbies or
Okay.
people without any experience. So they highlight their projects, and that actually can get uh, not the right perception or not the right understanding. So in your case, you have an experience and you are test automation engineer, or yeah, as
Mhm.
that.
It's that. Yeah.
Yes. So this thing you want to emphasize first, and the rest, like key projects and achievements, this is your supplemental um,
I see.
to your resume. So that would be quick fix. Just swap with the experience first. Key projects, you can put it down below, but
Got it.
skills, actually, even skills, you can reframe it. And bro, like you have 4 pages of your resume. That's a lot.
I do. Yeah.
Uh, no one, it's, well, first of all, it's very hard to navigate, and no one will get the first impression, like, in reading all 4 pages, right? So your job right now,
Mhm.
I mean, the resume's job is grab the attention, right? Do I want to read the resume next? So skills, like, and Stanley, you give your input. Do you search up into your skills first, or straight to the experience? I think skills section is very important. Section for especially for recruiters. When you don't need to read the whole entire resume, right, to find your specific skill set that you are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do a quick scan, to be honest, under 10 seconds to take a look at everything from, if you have a summary, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. Skill section is important. I mainly look at it for the tools that you use to make sure that it matches what we're looking for. And yeah, before looking at your projects, I would prefer to look at your work experience. Here, I actually got confused when you were talking about where you were working previously, about how you were here for a short time, a short contract, and then, when you were saying all that, I actually brushed over the literal title, key projects and achievement. And I was
Right.
just looking at cross-platform creator discovery platform and the dates, RAG system, quality assurance. I thought those were companies
The
that you looked at
experiences.
and
I
titled.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because you have the dates there as well, right? So that actually confused me until I
I
scrolled
see
down
the
further
confidence.
and
Yeah.
saw your experience.
I will switch the skill session and the key projects, or maybe just get rid of the projects altogether.
Yeah, and like Evgeny said, with your experience, you have it's a lot. It's a lot to throw at a recruiter to read, um, based on like what your experience is and how much experience you
Right. My previous resume was like single page, but it was still a lot of text. I mean, not this much text,
have.
but it was difficult to fit all the keywords within a single page. But I'll definitely try to cut in size, like at most maybe 3 pages. I try to keep it legible, like with all the bullet points and very few bold text. But still, I can see how it's difficult to just navigate through.
You really don't need to have these bullets in this resume, uh, because your
Everything is about it. Yeah.
everything which is yeah. Go ahead, Stanley.
Oh, you have so much experience already that, quite frankly, I don't care about your internship that you had
Yeah.
years ago.
I'm sorry, you got cut off. You don't care about what?
Oh, I say you have so much experience that I'm gonna put very little value to your internship that you had,
Oh, right.
for 2 months, right? I'm gonna put very, very like zero value into it.
Right.
I see, let's say if we scroll down to certifications and awards, right? I see 2016, you had a
It's also
3D
too long.
printer design and construction certification. Is that relevant to the role you're looking for?
I need to let go.
Yeah, and then
You need to
exactly.
let go 2 pages, man.
Yeah. And then yeah, education.
I don't have bachelor's degree. Um,
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, education is fine, but you definitely could let go of some of these roles and chop down your resume by 2 pages.
Yeah.
Right.
Even key projects, right? I don't know how large these projects are, what they are exactly without looking into them, but you basically have 3/4 of a page of your key projects.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah, I mean, I can get 2 or 3 pages. Um, to add to the first candidate's point regarding AI engineering, like I got actual experience at my previous role, the one that was 3 years long. Like 1 year of that was within actual AI teams, even if that was experimental. And I've tried to use that to apply to a lot of AI engineering roles, generative AI roles, all kind of AI and QA roles prior to my last employment of the 4 months contract. And only got just a few interviews. And within those, they did not like it at all, even if I had like real experience, but because it was all over the place. I think for at least the AI roles, there are a lot of people with like machine learning masters and all kinds of degrees and more experience before ChatGPT even. So I think it's like similarly hard compared to QA to find a job in AI right now.
Uh, Simple rule for all, right? Um, when you're searching a job, again, like I totally understand that your intent, that you have this experience and you think that actually that should work and it should help. But it's
Mhm.
not how hiring managers in general looking into, right? Again, like we have saturated market with people who have experience, with people who doesn't have experience, with people who have more relevant, not relevant, different. But
Right.
we have a lot. And whom you are trying to get, right? You're trying to get the best candidate for this position. And the candidate who does have some here and there experience or some knowledge here, some knowledge there, it's not the best candidate, right? The best
Yeah.
candidate in their eyes is some person who did this job or did this function for the last 2 3 years specifically with this intent, and he's looking for
Hmm.
another job with a similar skill set, maybe with other challenges, right? But like the core skill set that they're looking for is this. And for example, in your case, it's the same thing, right? Based on your last two experience, I would say, okay, that's a strong test and automation engineer, right?
Hmm.
But if you want to emphasize something else, then you need to create a separate resume. Again, same thing. Create a separate resume, target on this thing, right? Be laser focused on one specific job title, not job title, but um, job title group, right? Software test
Right.
automation engineer, as that QA automation engineer, those type of roles, right?
Hmm.
QA engineer even would be a little bit different, but I would have even for that QA engineer and QA automation engineer, I would have two different resumes,
I see.
emphasizing specifically for QA engineering, test automation engineering, software engineering, AI engineering, right? And this is completely different thing. Anyway, I think
Yes.
I think if you would do this, you will improve your resumes. And again, like into it's take it a blame on the market itself. If your resume would appear like 3 years ago, that would be a different story.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Thank you
good
so
luck,
much, Evgeny.
Adam. Thank you. All right, let's move. I'll with candidate number 4. Hey, candidate
Hello,
number
how you
4.
pronounce your first name?
Evgeny with a hard G.
Evgeny.
Yeah, I know it's not
Evgeny.
that
Got
common
it.
name.
All right, so
Um,
for my resume, I wanted to know if it's my resume that's stopping me from getting interviews so I could start focusing all my energy on practicing for interviews because right now I'm trying to make my resume perfect so that I know this is a tough job market, so there's a lot of other candidates that's qualified, so I want to make my resume pop
yeah.
out, pop like the first.
Is this your resume, right?
Yes.
All right.
Can you share with us what kind of company that last one is?
I've been applying to startups, mid-level companies, and I've been also applying to Thing.
Thank goodness. Okay. But as far as in your work experience, that company that you worked at, what kind of company is it?
The company I worked at it was a
You, you
startup
don't have to
that
share
had,
the name, but it's a startup.
yes. So for this company, it was open source contribution?
Right off the bat, remove this thing. It's not helping you in this resume because it's not even close to relevant, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
thought this was good to show who I was.
no, that's yeah, totally get it, but it's not helping. Everything which is not helping, just remove it. If it that would help, that would help, right? So in this resume, you would say that you're uh, a beginner or a junior software engineer, right?
Yes.
This is what it is. You don't need to emphasize it, like you are junior or just in the beginning. We see it, right? We see it. This thing, yep. Projects would speak loud in this. In this.
Okay. Right off the bat, I think your resume looks fine. You could remove that position of a security guard if you like. I do get and understand what you're trying to do, and if you want to leave it, that's fine too. Doesn't hurt at this moment. It's just if you need space, then that definitely doesn't need to be there.
Mhm.
Looking at your summary, I could tell who you are, years of experience you have, key tools you're looking. I don't necessarily think you need to add like JavaScript, React, Node, Express, Postgres there because you have all that under your technical skills. So it's just a redundancy, really.
Yeah, I see that.
And then as far as the achievements, I don't mind that you put the achievement under summary. You could also think about putting that under your work experience.
All right, so you want me to put the achievements into work experience?
Yeah, like the last line I see with achievements, including 40% faster load times and a 25% boost in development efficiency. You could put that under your work experience as well, or if you want to phrase it a different way or add some context into what project that was, right, or how you did it, you could definitely add it to your experience there.
Stanley, we are cutting. I mean, you're cutting off. You need to either getting closer to a laptop or talking louder. Something.
Did you catch everything I said?
Now it's much better. Get it number four. Did you catch everything?
Oh yeah, he told me about if I wanted to, I could use the achievement in the work experience. So I have one last question. You see, as a recruiter, when you see this resume, what do you think I can improve on? Like work experience, projects better to be a better candidate.
So,
I don't see too much to be honest, right? I think a resume could only get so good, right? It's just
Mhm.
how it looks aligned to, compared to different candidates, right? Compared to what the role is, and these are the skills we're looking for. But in terms of what I see here, this format that you have, the things you added, the bullet points I see, uh, links to the projects, that's textbook. It's everything that I would need to see to make a decision if I want to.
All right. So I know about the ATS scores. If so per role, should I change everything up on the resume or just change a few things up for the ATS?
No, you don't need to change anything. So, one thing I want to address, I've heard of a few people, or at least two people so far, talk about the ATS. There are a lot of different ATSs. There's a few good ones that companies use, and I would say that most ATSs don't spit out a score and you know rank you or score you based off your resume compared to the role, right? So
Understood.
a very common one is greenhouse. There's no score that I know of where it just gives me a number and tells me how close you are to the position. I think there are some tools out there, definitely, but I wouldn't worry too much about it.
All right, so I've been using this resume to apply to many jobs, but I just keep getting a candidate was better than you, so we went with that candidate. We hope to connect with you later, somewhere along the line is that. So I was just wondering, compared to what candidates you've seen for any roles you applied that would apply for a job, for entry level job like I would, what would you say that I should work on to make myself I don't want to repeat a better candidate. I don't think, is this the same question I asked you, if you understood?
I think I understand. To give you a higher odds of, getting to that next step and getting that interview. Personally, I think you should focus on putting yourself out there and networking. You could continue working on your project, right? Working on different project to up level your skills. That's something that you should be doing, you know, um, behind the scenes, let's say, to up level your skills so that when you do get those technical interviews, you know, how to approach it. You've seen these type of problems before, so in the interviews you crush it, right? But you know, the market's hard right now for junior people with 2+ years experience, right? That's a dime a dozen. A lot of people have that. Right? A lot of junior people got laid off, and quite frankly, a lot of very senior people got laid off as well, right? Um, the market's tough right now to the point where, hey, if we say, okay, we're looking for someone to join our team, um, they could be junior, but let's say we see someone with 5, 6, 7 years of experience and their compensation works out, we're able to pay it, right? Someone with just purely more experience could be chosen over.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, definitely. 100% agree what Stanley said. It's just, well, you're competing with experienced people. Your job right now is two parts. Get experience here more, even just the projects that you're working on, um, with your pet projects or anything that you could put it something here, right? Because right now it's just fundamentals. Your resume is competing with more experienced people a lot.
Yeah, and to give you guys some context, right? Once we post a role, within like a day, we could have 200 applicants. So you're not even just competing against other applicants, you're competing against my allotted time I have available to look at each resume, right? And if there's so many applicants, I clearly can't get to all the resumes and just does get backlogged. And that's just being completely transparent to how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's like a first come, first serve type of deal when you look at the
Sometimes it's
resume.
first come, first serve, right? Sometimes we will search within the resume. There's a function in a lot of ATSs where we could search for our own keywords that we're looking for, right?
Mm.
Just to give an example of one of the roles I'm working on, it's going to be helping some of the hardware group that, and we'll be working on supply chain. So in my ATS, there's so many resumes. I'll just go and type in a quick keyword like, okay, supply chain. Boom, there's 40 resumes there, right? And that's out of 400. So having that experience uh, helps that person stand out to me, particularly for this role. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it hurts you just because you don't have it. So your job is to up level your skills, be ready when you have that interview and you get that opportunity. You have to perform your best. So just prepare the most you can for that, and you have to get your resume seen, right? And you know, it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of asking for referrals. So if you have a connection on LinkedIn, reach out to people that are your first connection, see what companies that they're working on, see if there's relevant roles there, and then ask if they would be open to referring you for that position. Because referrals do play a role, or you know, does make an impact on getting your resume seen and looked at the very least.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
That helped a lot. Thank you.
Let's go with candidate number 6.
You mind sharing the dates of how long you worked at each place?
Yeah, do you need me to repost it or?
No, just
No.
verbally.
Okay,
Verbally, yeah. At DevSite, how long were you there for?
give me a second. I think 8 years. That's about 7 to 8 years. Billing contract about 5, I believe was 5 to 6 years. Let's see. Get the exact.
Yeah, you don't need to continue. So basically, I think you need to also reduce your resume at least like for 1.5 or 2 pages max, ideally
pages.
1. Yeah. Um, Major, since you've been here for 8 years, I think that will be your main point that you're gonna be talking about your experience, because everything that more than 5 years is really considered, not really relevant anymore.
Okay.
Sometimes you barely can remember what you've done like yesterday, but not like 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
So the rest, yeah, like you can just briefly touch what you've done, or you like put their projects. You don't need to describe it. You can have like a master resume, right, where you can put everything. For example, my friend, he's doing this. He has like master resume where he put all bullet points what he did in each company, but
Uh-huh.
that resume is not for applying, right? So it's more for the reference. In your case, it's like keep this thing, dev site, reference that you've done something here and here. And ageism is real, so it's up to you. You can keep it up, like showing your all work experience, or you can just trim it, reduce it, keep 8 years. Believe me, it's already enough
Okay.
for the show, for the proof that you are a good software engineer.
So also like basically no more than 2 pages.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah, 2
anything?
pages should be fine. My impression of looking at your resume is that it's very wordy.
Yeah, okay.
I'll never discount someone and say, hey, I won't look at this, I won't read this resume because it's so wordy. I'll never do that. But you have to understand that we're looking at potentially hundreds of resumes every day, and the first few seconds really count as far as making a decision. All right, is this someone I want to look closer at, right, at each bullet point? So looking at yours, okay, professional summary, software engineer, I see some skills here. Based on your summary alone, kind of looks like you're a developer, not QA.
All right.
I could confirm that with your title, software engineer. I see the company, developer's journey and solutions. I'm guessing that's your team, or your kind of role type, if you will.
Yes.
But once I start looking at your bullet points, it's like blocks of text, right? And it's just really hard for me to scan it. Overall, I could tell you're, like probably a full stack or a backend engineer
Yes.
based on everything I'm looking at.
And in front end.
Okay, so like a full stack engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I'm scanning this, it's really hard to just follow everything you're doing. So, one advice I could give you is you have bullet points where they're basically paragraphs, 2-3 sentence paragraphs. Try to keep it one sentence, maybe two, if you need to provide some additional context,
Okay.
right? But you have your first bullet point has four lines, second one has 5 lines, the next one has 6 lines, right? You don't have to provide all that information on a resume because that's the point of an interview, so that you could dig into some of the details. We like seeing some details, but more or less it could be fairly high level.
Okay.
One thing that I've done with my resume is, I'll have like some of my responsibilities, some achievements, and then one of my last bullet points would be, these are projects that I'm especially proud of. And then I'll just, make up some project title that shares what it is. And oftentimes when I interview, if they want to hear about some projects I worked on, they see some keywords in there, then I could continue talking about this project. But you don't have to go so in depth into each of them.
So the question I have is like, often people search for certain keywords. So it's like, how do you determine what kind of keywords are to make it more concise? To
You
make
need
sure
to
that
have a skills
Skill
section.
section.
Yeah.
okay.
Skill section include, tools, platforms, languages you code in.
How about if there are certain technologies that I'm using, but it's mostly, a lot of it is all in-house.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to sell, right? Everything which is developed internally.
Yes.
So yeah, for you, you have different problem, right? For example, compared to newbies, for newbies, they have fundamental problem with having lack of experience, right? In your case, you have a lot of experience, but you need to trim your resume, make it more readable. Like, I'm 100% agree with Stanley that these paragraph, it's very hard to consume, right? Again, like, keep in mind 6 seconds rule when
Okay.
we skim basically, right? And you make it very hard to skim it. Uh, yeah, like one bullet, one sentence, maximum 2 lines, not more than that. Try to, uh, yeah, and skills, put it in the skills section, all technologies that you've been working. Try to avoid, like, again, this is not the confession, right? It's more like a marketing tool, the resume, right? You trying to attract the employer, and you convinced that you are the best employee for this position, or candidate for this position. Putting the relevant skills to the industry, and so for full stack or backend software engineering. Yeah, that's it. The rest, I mean, the the hardest part, you have it, like with your experience, you can sell it, but now you need to wrap it up, make it nicely, looks nice.
So, better packaging, better to catch the
Yeah,
eye,
yeah,
easier,
just
faster to
yeah,
skim and read.
exactly. You know what, guys, like, for all of your resumes, if you put it in any LLM and ask ChatGPT, hey, give me like 10 bullet points, like how you can improve, or it will do this for you. You
Okay.
don't, like, half of it you can just, headache can be eliminated very easy in 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Put yourself in a recruiter or a hiring manager shoe and think to yourself, okay, all right, they're going to be reviewing hundreds of resumes a day, and average recruiter spends about 6 to 10 seconds scanning a resume. Actually reading a resume, I would say, let's say closer to a minute or so, right? And then having that information and going to your resume, read every single line, of your resume, read your entire resume, and calculate how long that takes, right? And then you kind of understand, okay, can I do this all day reading 100 of these,
Okay.
right? And then you'll kind of understand it, kind of empathize. Then you're like, all right, how do I shorten it so that someone who doesn't know me doesn't need to move me forward in the interview process if there's hundreds of other resumes? How can I shorten this so that only the most important things stand out? What do I want to share with them if I only had 10 seconds? Right. And then that's a good starting point to like being in that mindset of, all right, this is a resume I want to create.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Okay.
you, candidate number 7. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Hey, candidate number 7. I can tell that this resume is for fresh graduate or
Yeah.
bootcamp graduate, right?
Yeah. I just graduated.
From college, right?
So this is going to be very similar feedback to the gentleman 2 or 3 resumes ago, but having no experience, it's going to be tough in the market for you.
Yeah.
As far as your resume itself, I don't see anything wrong here. Pretty standard format, if I'm being honest, right? You got your education, you highlight that since you just graduated, your experience, which is it's like assistant performance analyst, okay, teaching assistant, teaching fellow. So I see that some projects that you have here. You have your GitHub link, which is good. The skill section at the bottom, which is all good. I think your biggest thing is going to be networking with the right people and getting eyes on your resume. Have you kept in touch with your classmates or anything like that?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the best way since you just newly graduated. You'll have a pulse on what the market is based on, what they say as well. Right. So obviously, I know you're going to try and apply for jobs yourself, but your classmates will as well. And if you see them land at a job, you're going to start wondering how that happened, right? But
Yeah.
keep in touch with them, see what their strategy is, and see if they can help you out in any way. If they
All
land
right.
something before you.
All right. Yeah. Like what I've been doing lately is like I'm working on a lot of projects because I am unemployed and just like have free time. So I'm like trying to build my resume through that. Would you recommend like I try to branch out and like get experience with a lot of different technologies, or should I like focus on the tech stack I've been working with?
I would suggest you to focus on one technology, but make it in knowledge in depth. Because yeah, from that's the whole point. I'm looking at your resume and actually to the resume previous gentleman, Ibrahim, I believe, resume number 3. So basically, like if I would just pick, or would be easier to pick the resume if that would be internship for uh, internship position or junior developer position, right? Um, your resume is a little bit like also you're not really sure in this case like what you're trying to do, or like, you're not really emphasizing what kind of position you're looking for. With the other resume, he stated in summary he's a full stack engineer, computer science, and like he's showing what he did. All right. In your case, it's more like you stated what you've done, but you're not really sure what you're going to do.
Okay.
So this is very different approach, which is not the best one.
Okay.
So in your case, I would sit someday, and not someday, I would pick the niche that you want to do and make the resume around this niche. So for example, same full stack engineer and all your projects that actually proving that you've done it, right? So that's how you can improve your resume here. Because for example, teaching assistant, teaching fellow, I understand that there's nothing else that you can to show,
Yeah.
but like this is not something that stand you out from the crowd, right? But projects that you've done, this is actually in this case, it's more selling rather than teaching assistant or teaching
Yeah.
fellow, right? So for previous resumes, right, we would say, oh, put the projects below experience because they did have experience. In your case, it's more like now you would better to show your projects above your experience because they are more relevant to your experience, except that assistant performance analyst. And again, like if for software engineer, it's not like very strong, right?
Yeah.
So, but projects that you've done, that will be talking more, right? And again, you putting the GitHub link. This is where I would click first. Okay, show me your what you've done because
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So move the projects up.
yeah,
Add more projects. I could drop like fellow or even like assistant too.
yeah, yeah. Up to you. It's not hurt, but it's not also help. You know,
Yeah.
it's
So if I need the space, I'll just let those go.
yeah.
All
I
right.
would definitely trim teaching assistant, teaching fellow. Maybe just mention it, but they are not worth of 4 bullets and like
Yeah.
25% of your resume or 15% of your resume, you know. Yeah, that
All
would be
right.
quick, easy fix, quick fix.
Do you think I should add like a professional summary at the top?
Yes. Summary, professional summary or summary at the top would be like very, I would say it's, yeah, definitely you need to do this. That's something that people, hiring managers would look into. Like, this is your pitch, right? This is like, why should I read your resume? For example, Ibrahim's resume does have a summary, and actually, it's easier to read and understand like who is he, what is what is he looking for, right? So yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
would rather have a summary than one of your teaching positions down here.
definitely,
All right.
Or you could even combine both of these teaching positions
yeah,
into, one experience, really.
Okay.
yeah. All right. Good luck with job search.
Thank you. Thank you.
Candidates. Yeah. But again, like the generic advice to all, right? Because market is bad. It sucks. Another layoffs just recently came up last week from the company. There were a lot of layoffs for QA department. What to do is networking, right? How do you? I saw there were a question like, how do I lend my resume to hiring manager, right? And I think that the only way is through the networking. But again, networking doesn't mean that you are constantly bombarding people with messages. But yeah, this is something that you do like when you're applying to the position. I highly recommend to follow up with a message, short, concise message. Hey, my name is Evgeny. I applied to your position. I know that you're looking for a QA engineer, and I am a QA engineer with 5 months of experience. Right? That's it. Don't don't ask like don't ask more, but just tapping, mentioning that you've been applied, and if recruiter will see that you are relevant to this position, he definitely will look into your resume. But other than that, go to the networking events, try to get connection. And obviously, like Stanley said, I think you asked, do you catch up with your peers, right? Your closest network would be actually the biggest assets for you. Who will can refer you to if they got hired, they can refer you to their company, to their openings. And this is what I would do. I would first go to my outreach to my closest network, let them know, hey, I'm looking for a job. If you know someone, or if you know that your company hiring, please let me know. Or just make it genuine connection, right? Not transactional. Yeah, that would be it on my side. Stanley, last word.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining these sessions. It's always good to, hear from you guys and see what you guys are struggling with, right? And it helps us keep in touch with the market. So I just want to say thank you for that. Um, Overall, even if we didn't get to your resume today, I hope that you guys all learned something. You could see from every resume that we did look at, there's usually a common theme of what to do. And to emphasize everything again, your resume can only do so much, right? So I wouldn't sweat it that much after you make sure that it gets to like a good level. At that point, you have to just focus your time and energy on something else, right? To make yourself stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, on my side, last thing, I just want to repeat myself that I'll promise you guys that I'll pick from candidate number 8 all the way to Rahman Ali Sheikh, to you. All these resumes I will take and send it over to director of HR, and I will ask to review it, and she will give a feedback. But that's gonna be not online event. It's gonna be recorded. We'll go with her together. Sounds good. All right, Stanley, thank you very much for your input. Very valuable feedback. See you next session.
All right. Glad to be here. Thanks, everyone. I am available on LinkedIn. If you guys want to add me, just search me up, Stanley Soon at Cisco.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.